stone pelting in Jammu and Kashmir will now cost the criminals dear. The state CID has issued an order stating that there will be no security clearance to those found involved in law and order and stone pelting cases and other crimes that are quote-unquote prejudicial to the security of the state. What this basically means that it'll have a direct impact on the verification process that you need to undergo for getting a passport or to partake of government schemes and services. The BJP, of course, is saying that it's only another step to ensure that the youth of Jammu and Kashmir are brought onto the right path. Anti-national elements naturally should be made to answer for their actions, but there are politicians, mainstream political parties in the valley who are seeing it as gross misuse of power and of the law.
कितने कंट्राडिक्शंस है। एक दिन कहते हैं कि नहीं दिल्ली और दिल की दूरी ख़त्म होनी चाहिए और जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों को बिल्कुल साथ लगाना चाहिए, साथ लेना चाहिए, तो कोई अंतर नहीं होना चाहिए। तो लेकिन दूसरे दिन ऐसे सर्कुलर्स निकलते हैं, तो क्या मतलब है इस सर्कुलर का? तो एक तो दुरुपयोग होगा, मिसयूज होगा।
हम जम्मू कश्मीर में किसी भी देश विरोधी गतिविधि को कभी होने नहीं देंगे, पर इसका ये मतलब कतई नहीं है कि हम अपने लोगों के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से लाए जाने वाले लगातार काले कानूनों का साथ दें। कल जो कानून भारतीय जनता पार्टी जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों के ऊपर थोपना चाहती है, उससे ये लोग क्या साबित करना चाहते हैं?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the debate, Dr. Nirmal Singh, a former Deputy Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Amit Raina, Kashmiri Pandit activist, Najmu Saqib, spokesperson of the PDP, Majid Haidari, political analyst. Dr. Nirmal Singh, दिल की दूरी और दिल्ली से दूरी घटाने की बात की जा रही है और जो बच्चे हैं उनके खिलाफ ये एक्शन लिया जा रहा है। आपकी सरकार, आपकी पार्टी के ऊपर इल्जाम है कि ये हिपोक्रेसी है, ये मिसलेड यूथ है, उनको पिनलाइज क्यों?
देखिए, ये तो सेट एक प्रेसिडेंस है, लॉ है कि किसी भी नौकरी के लिए, कहीं के लिए भी आपको करेक्टर सर्टिफिकेट देना पड़ता है। किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कोई काम करता है उसको भी करेक्टर सर्टिफिकेट देना पड़ता है। तो ये कोई नई बात नहीं है, पुलिस से क्लियरेंस लेनी पड़ती है। जो इसके ऊपर प्रश्न उठा रहे हैं, मैंने उमर अब्दुल्ला साहब का भी एक स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा है कि वो चाहते हैं कि ऐसे पत्थरबाज जो अलगाववादियों से मिले हुए हैं, काफी लोग उसके नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस पीडीपी के वर्कर्स भी हैं, वो पुलिस में जाएं, वो आर्मी में जाएं, और जैसे वो जो है 90s में ये लोग थे जो यूनिवर्सिटीज में भर्ती हो गए, ऐसे लोग कॉलेजेस में हो गए, अलग अलग डिपार्टमेंट्स में हो गए, और यही लोग हैं जो कि ओवरग्राउंड वर्कर्स का काम करते रहे। क्या यहां की पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के लोग, जब वो लोग जो इसका विरोध कर रहे हैं, वो ये चाहते हैं कि ये लोग जाके यहां जो कानून व्यवस्था है, जो पाकिस्तान से मिलके, अलगाववादियों से मिलके फिर से वो अफरा तफरी करें? ये दिल की दूरी जो है उसको पास करने के लिए पत्थर की जो दूरी है, जो बंदूक की जो दूरी है, उसको खत्म करने के लिए ये कानून है। और जो है अगर ये लोग अपने आप को साबित करते हैं, कोई इसको मना नहीं करेगा, लेकिन ये सेट रूल है, ये नहीं पहली बार नहीं हो रहा है, सिर्फ उसको रीइटरेट किया गया है।
नजमू साकिब, एक्शंस हैव कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस। अगर आप पत्थर फेंकेंगे उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे। व्हाई द आउटरेज?
Padmaja, you have to give me a minute because I will like to address the two aspects of this whole issue. One aspect is the amount of arbitrary and discretionary power that has been given to the police and executive branch of the government through this order. You know how police operates in this country. We have also seen a lot of youngsters who are languishing in jails, who were acquitted by courts after 11, 12, 20 years. And then court has said that there is no evidence against them. Acquit them. So giving this amount of power to police, imagine tomorrow if someone tells you that you're, shunted out from your job because you are anti-national. at least you would have legal recourse. You would have the option to go to the courts and challenge the decision. Here, the people of Kashmir, the government employees, are not given that option.
No.
They don't have a mechanism for legal recourse.
Is that correct?
That is our only problem.
No, just a
absolutely.
second. How can they not have legal recourse? It's like how it happens in the rest of the country. In the rest of the country also,
this is
the indiscriminate power you're talking about exists across the country. If I need to get a passport, I need to get a police verification. Now I can say I don't believe the police. Half of the time the police is corrupt, to mujhse paisa le lenge, etc., etc. But that's not the case.
The point.
We all submit ourselves to that verification.
No. The point, you're absolutely right, Padmaja. For every passport that is issued or has been issued till now, there is a proper verification. For every job that is given to the individual, there is a proper verification. And if someone is denied that passport or that job based on the security clearance, he has, option of legal recourse, as you would have tomorrow if you are kicked out of your organization.
Yes.
But the Kashmiris are being denied that right.
How?
That's number one point.
No. Wow. How? How can Kashmiris be denied that right? Are you saying you don't have access to the courts?
Precisely in this order, the executive will decide, not the courts. That's our fight. That's our problem with this whole order. This is a unique experiment that is being done in Kashmir. And tomorrow, this whole experiment will be replicated in the rest of the country. That's number one point. Second point, while on the other hand, Lieutenant Governor, Home Minister Saab, Prime Minister Saab talks about Dil Ki Duri, talks about process of reconciliation, about process of reintegration. They say that when there is an encounter, we give youngsters the chance to surrender. Imagine that youngster surrenders. And because of this order, he does not have the option of starting his life anew.
Okay, let's take this one by one. Amit Raina, address the first issue, that the rest of the country, you can have legal recourse. Here in this circular, you are being condemned without even a chance of having a legal recourse.
I haven't understood any. Why does voice of dissent only come from the Kashmir province, not from Jammu, when anything that is done against separatists, terrorists or stone pelters? The same concern should have been raised by the people of Jammu. I haven't seen them raising the same concern. Why is that there is a certain section of population in Kashmir which suddenly gets worried when there is an action against separatist stone pelters? So there's something more deeper to it. Otherwise, as you rightly said, a police verification process for a government job or a passport is a norm across country. Why, if sitting in Delhi, someone doesn't feel uncomfortable about it, someone in Tamil Nadu doesn't feel uncomfortable, someone in Punjab doesn't feel uncomfortable about it, why should someone sitting in Kashmir province feel uncomfortable about, unless and until he is not indulging in anti-national activities, anti-government activities, something which is not good for the nation. So I haven't understood the concern. Secondly, legal recourse is available. There's a Jammu and Kashmir High Court. There's all courts which are there. And I don't know from which, unless our honored guest is talking about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and he has experience of that, I don't think there is any other reason to feel threatened about it. The people who are anti-India, people who are against the state, need to feel threatened, and they rightly should feel threatened.
Najmul Saqib. And in fact, what you are saying about no legal recourse, let me just a second, let me just read out for our viewers verbatim what the circular says. All it says is the field units of CID SB Kashmir are hereby directed to ensure that during verification related to passport, service and other verification related to government services schemes, the subject's involvement in law and order, stone pelting cases and other crime prejudicial to security of state be specifically looked into and corroborated from local police station records. Nowhere does it say that anyone who is denied security clearance subsequently cannot go to court. Where did you get that from? That is where it stops. It says that I have a policeman coming to my house. They say, excuse me, we have found CCTV footage of you pelting stones. We deny you security clearance. Period.
Padmaja, I would urge you to read the stories that come from Kashmir every single day. It has been just 1 week when 11 government servants were shunted out of the government,
And that's what
and
is
they
hurting.
have no legal recourse. You have to understand, you have to read between the fine lines.
No, why are you reading between the lines? It's a very simple
because that's
circular.
where-
You are reading between the lines about how they are not going to get any
How?
legal recourse.
The problem
It just
is
says
with the
that when I
implementation.
apply
The
for clearance and I am found to have indulged in a certain crime, I am denied the clearance. It doesn't even say that you cannot apply again. It doesn't even go so far. Where did you get this, condemned forever conclusion?
When the officers were recently shunted out of the services, they were not left with any option to go to the courts.
No, they
I don't know.
go to the court. I think you
No,
are
absolutely
you are
not.
highly
Absolutely
uninformed.
not.
You are
No,
highly
Amitji,
uninformed.
I'm
Any
sorry.
man in this country has
Amitji,
a right to
I'm
go to the
absolutely
court.
sorry.
No, every
Absolutely
man.
not.
Let me get the answer from Dr. Nirmal Singh. Dr. Nirmal Singh, since you have been an administrator yourself, can you please answer this? Can you please answer this apprehension of the PDP, जहाँ पे नजमू साकिब कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे ये दिखाया जा रहा है कि किसी को अगर पासपोर्ट क्लियरेंस नहीं मिला, वो कोर्ट भी नहीं जा सकते, वो अपील भी नहीं कर सकते अगेंस्ट डिनायल ऑफ पासपोर्ट और गवर्नमेंट बेनिफिट्स, like the rest of the country has that benefit.
This is nonsense. This is nonsense, I shall say. This is not a new law. This is not a new, this has been reiterated only. It was there during Mufti Saab's time. It was there during Momer Saab's time. It is there right from the Sheikh Abdullah's time. There is the Public Safety Act also. Even during emergency, I was arrested under MISA. When this emergency was imposed, I was arrested in 1975. Such laws are there to maintain the sanctity of the system, to protect the system from these unruly elements. And people who have waged this war against the nation, whether they are stone pelters, whether they are terrorists, there is a law, there is a set law to just expose them and deny them all the rights which are available within the system.
So you're saying that these
And
laws
these
always
people, they are
existed.
only,
It's just that they were never applied. They were just never applied to give a free run to people who engaged in such acts. Dr. Singh.
Let's talk about the recent cases where employees were shunted out of the government.
No, let's talk about the pelters. Where have you drawn this conclusion from? Let Dr. Nirmal Singh answer the question. You're saying, Dr. Singh, that these laws always existed. It's just that they were never applied because stone pelters were supposed to be misguided youth. They were given a free run. Now the law is being applied in letter and spirit. Dr. Singh.
Actually, this time the state is very particular that such elements don't enter the system. As you know that in 1990s, a large number of such people, whether they were terrorists, they joined the universities, they joined the other departments. And you have seen that even police revolted ultimately in the 1990s, and army had to be called. Do these people, they want that the state is again in a revolt through these such overgrown workers of the terrorists and separatists?
Majid Haidari.
The government is not going to allow this.
Mr. Majid Haidari.
Whatever government is doing, that is within the framework of the constitution.
The law has always existed. And just by the way, while we are at it, if you just a second, if you want to incentivize young people, incentivize with scholarships. Why incentivize them to pelt stones or engage in extra constitutional activities and say, it's okay, you go pelt stones, we'll give you a passport anyway? Why? You're destroying their future.
Padmaja Sahib, very humbly I want to say that this order is illogical, illegal and undemocratic. This is illogical because the BJP says since the abrogation of Article 370 on August 5, 2019, there has been no stone pelting. So if this order is there, the BJP is contradicting its stand.
This is democracy.
Point number two,
democracy.
This order is illegal because everybody is supposed to be innocent unless proven guilty in the court of law. Here the element of court of law is missing. This order is extrajudicial.
But this order has always been there. Didn't you just hear the former deputy CM?
The member parliament. Pragya Thakur can become the member parliament despite being terror accused.
अरे कहाँ से आप प्रज्ञा ठाकुर ले आए भाई माजिद हायदरी साहब? ये ऑर्डर बहुत पहले से है, अब उसको सिर्फ रिएटरेट किया जा रहा है.
I have proven it before the viewers. Thank you.
देखिए इन लोगों का कोई भी अच्छा मूव है उसको क्वेश्चन करना और भारत को भारत राष्ट्र के ऊपर प्रश्न चिन्ह लगाना, ये इन लोगों का काम है।
Hindutva agenda, I have proven it before that. I don't want to say anything further. Thank you.
Majid Sahib speak.
There is a
Why
peace
do
in
you
the
want to take
Kashmir Valley.
anyone's voice? आपको आदत हो गई है मुल्क पे हर एक की आवाज दबाने की।
They want such people to enter the system and wreck the system from within, which they were doing earlier.
Najmu Saqib.
Tragedy of Kashmir.
Najmu Saqib.
Chief ministers are questioning it.
Padmaja, look, there
Najmu
is a
Saqib,
dichotomy.
Najmu Saqib,
There is
Dr.
a
Nirmal Singh has
dichotomy.
said three things जो वो बोल रहे हैं। एक, कि ये लॉ पहले से है, इसको सिर्फ अब इंप्लीमेंट किया जा रहा है, as should be done in any democracy. One country, one law. Second is that this is actually going to work in favor of the people who are subjected to this law. पत्थर मारना, encourage करना is not good for the people involved.
Sadhvi Pragya Thakur. That is the bigger question.
Arey, just a second. That is not the bigger question. That is a totally tangential question. Please, Najmu Saqib.
I'll answer both of your questions.
Yes.
First of all, Nirmal Singh ji, let others speak, please. When
Yes.
you have two questions. Let me answer the first question. When you say that by sort of reiterating this order, are you saying that the police till this time or the intelligence agencies till this time have been incompetent, that they have issued passports or character certificates to people, that they are not doing their job, or they are accomplices?
They're
That's number
saying
one.
that it's
That's
actually
number
the politicians who ensured a free run.
no,
And
absolutely
didn't allow
not.
for these laws to be implemented.
Padmaja, we know about Devinder Singh's story. That doesn't mean the whole of the police is compromised.
What is the Devinder Singh story?
He was also part of the police. If there
Are you saying, just a second, let me just understand this. Najmu Saqib, are you as a representative of the PDP coming on TV and questioning the entire Jammu and Kashmir police, the same police which has lost its men and women to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism? I think it's a very, very uncharitable thing to be saying.
By questioning their ability, by questioning their competence, by questioning their
You are the one
credibility.
questioning. You started out by saying that we know how the police is. How can we give police a free run when you know their nature? How can they decide who deserves a passport or not?
They have been doing their job fairly, competently, and with lot of authority. They have been doing their job. It
Okay,
is
great.
PDP to politicize them. That's number one point. My second point is, when BJP talks about policy of reconciliation, talks about policy of reintegration, where a youngster at an encounter site surrenders, what option does he have left now to reintegrate back into the society? What option does a stone pelter now have to reintegrate back into the society?
Amit Raina.
If you want to criminalize this whole process, then there is an absolute failure.
So then let's not prosecute any criminal. What option does a murderer have to reintegrate?
Absolutely not.
Let's give him a second chance. What option does a rapist have to reintegrate? Let's not put him in jail.
Is he trying to tell us a terrorist who has killed people, who has murdered people, should be allowed to be back in a government job? Should be allowed to run the system? Are you telling us that? He should be happy that he's being allowed back in the society and allowed to live a normal life. That should be the best reward for him. Are you trying to tell us that now it is time to get back the terrorist system?
That should have been done there.
You just quoted Devinder Singh. Devinder Singh was sacked under the same rule, under the same provision of which 11 of these employees, including Why did you not raise your voice then?
Government has just dismissed him and not initiated any inquiry against him. हमें पता है इनके double standards. ये छुपने वाली चीजें नहीं हैं. ये मुल्क के सामने है double standards इनकी.
1 year ago, the Chief of Defence Staff said a very important thing. That people, irrespective of their age, who are using even stones to maim and injure the security forces are nothing less than overground workers providing support to terrorists, and they should be treated as such. Do you think that such people deserve government benefits while attacking government employees? Think about that. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for having joined me on the Newshour Agenda. See you tomorrow.